Yes, boxing fans, welcome back to Inside Boxing Brain, and we're back for another video. Today I'm going to be reacting to the Joyce and Joseph Parker fight, which is scheduled for this Saturday night, I think. I've just watched the full press conference, which is on YouTube right now, and I thought I should jump on and do a reaction video and prediction for the big fight. Now, this is actually an eliminator for U6 WBO belt. So whoever wins this fight is actually going to be mandatory for the heavyweight title. And considering that both men are getting on a little bit now, they're in their mid-30s, I think that this fight has just come at the right time for both of them. So, having thought about it, I do have a clear winner in mind, and the reason why I've made the prediction that I'm going to give a little bit later on in this video is down to one reason and one reason alone. I'm going to talk about each fighter's strengths and each fighter's weaknesses before I give my prediction. But in reaction to this press conference, what the fuck? The amount of drama in this press conference, I was not expecting it from two fighters who are really quite timid. I think by timid I mean quiet. They play the nice guy. I think the main bit of drama didn't come from the fighters, it actually came from the promoters. In the beginning, I think it's this dev guy who was the host, and he basically put the question over to Joseph Parker's manager to say, you know, what do you expect from this fight and what do you want from this fight? And his answer was strange. He said they wanted a fair decision, they wanted the judges to basically not be corrupt, and for it to be equal on the judges' scorecards, to give, if it was a close round, not to give it to the home favourite basically. And the third thing, which really blew my mind, was he said he wanted everyone to get paid, basically alluding to the fact that he thinks that Frank Warren or Queensberry are not going to release funds for this fight. Now, Queensberry's promoter for this fight is actually Frank's son, and Frank's son basically pipes up immediately and says the money is in an escrow account. And an escrow account is basically a virtual account which you set up for yourself, and you create your own account number and sort code for it essentially, and people pay money into that you can then access, but after the fact. And he basically says the money's been paid, it's an escrow, so what are you on about? And Joseph Parker's manager comes back and says, well, it's not in my escrow account, as if basically saying that it's not in the account. So really questioning the fact and the integrity of Queensberry, who, as far as I'm aware, have had a few allegations over the years of not paying fighters on time, or, you know, if it's a pay-per-view event, not paying the full pay-per-view revenue. They'll say that, oh, it got 750,000 buys, but the boxer only got paid out for maybe 50,000 purchases, but they say that the money trickles in and it comes in stages. Hard to believe. But having said that, that's where the main drama really came. The two managers, the two promoters, were really going at it. In terms of the management team, the trainers, you can tell there's class on that table. Ismail Salas is, in one word, a legend, and Andy Lee is, you know, one of the most sharpest minds in boxing. That's what I'm going to say before I give a full prediction. So yeah, the two trainers, you could tell that they come from the old school, where trash talking isn't really their thing. They're very respectful. They talk about strategy and a game plan. They talk about how they're going to implement changes and how they're going to adapt and how they're going to, you know, create an environment for their fighter to get the best out of the strengths that they have. So that was, you know, interesting to see them go at it. Ismail Salas actually suggested that Joseph Parker was going to get knocked out in this fight, and you could tell that it did piss Andy Lee off, but he didn't react. He didn't bite, and he didn't, you know, fire back with anything too insightful. He just said that, you know, they've got a great game plan for this fight, and, you know, he believes in his man because he's got the speed, the power, the agility, and, you know, the boxing brain, the inside boxing brain. So that was interesting to see. Now, when I look at the strengths of each fighter, you know, let's look at Joyce to start with. The main thing that you notice when you look at the man is just the size of him. You know, 6'6" or taller, built like a brick shithouse, can take a punch. He's got a steel chin, great jab, great boxing fundamentals, power in both hands. You saw how he got rid of Daniel Dubois, and he's got Olympic pedigree. He's fought the likes of Alexander Usyk, and, you know, he's an Olympian, so it shows that he's got that boxing credibility and that know-how. Joe Joyce is a formidable opponent for any man, and that may be one of the reasons why he has been hard to match. And it's been difficult for people to get fights for him to help him progress up the rankings. But, you know, now he's there, he's at a title eliminator for this fight, and he's got some key strengths going into this. In terms of weaknesses for Joe Joyce, I have to say that his Achilles heel is speed. He's very slow, not only hand speed but also his foot speed. He moves around the ring in a methodical way. It's not agility based, and that may and has actually caused him a lot of difficulties in the past. He gets hit a lot for a heavyweight, and in the heavyweight division it only takes one punch to knock somebody out, and the fact that he exposes his chin so much makes me think that it's a matter of time before he gets in there with a devastating puncher or somebody who lands a sweet shot that just catches him on the chin and just knocks him out. So it's possible. But in terms of weaknesses, he isn't riddled with them. You know, it's not like he's a Deontay Wilder where he doesn't have a boxing fundamental base to work from. Everything is just based on one powerful right hand. He's got good combination punches. He throws left hooks, you know, followed by uppercuts, right hand. He doubles up on the jab really well. Solid fighter. In contrast to Parker then, you know, Parker's key strengths clearly come in his agility and his ability to move around the ring and be agile and quick and fleet of foot. His speed and power in combination with one another really give him the edge. You know, it's hard to call him a one-punch knockout artist because he doesn't have any major showreel knockouts and he's underperformed in some of his fights, but one thing that he does exceptionally well is hurt his opponents, and in all of his major fights, whether they were a title defense or whether he was, you know, challenging a champion like Joshua, he's always hurt his opponents. In the fight with Dillian Whyte, he nearly had him out of there towards the end, and Dillian Whyte, people have overlooked him now because he got knocked out by Tyson, but he is a warrior. Dillian, the body snatcher Whyte, is a problem for 99% of heavyweights on this planet. So it just shows that, you know, Joseph Parker has speed, he has power to hurt these big men, but it still has to be seen whether or not he'll be able to hurt Joyce. Another key strength for him is his management team. Andy Lee is a legend in this game. He is a young legend in this game. You know, they train out of Tyson Fury's camp in Morecambe. They've got Fury in the camp with them. Andy Lee in the camp with them. That stable of fighters in Morecambe at the moment really have the boxing world in their hand. Tyson Fury is a legend. You know, the way he operates within the boxing game just shows you how intelligent he is, how smart he is, how he's been able to prophesize many things. And it all comes from that self-belief. And spending time with somebody like Tyson Fury, yes, we can say Tyson's not getting in the ring to fight, but spending time with the champ, that mindset and that ability to make adjustments in the fight and read a fighter, you pick them up, you learn that. It's a learnable skill. And I think to win this fight, Joseph Parker is going to have to make adaptations throughout the rounds. Weaknesses for Parker, I believe, are that, you know, he can get caught, and he has been caught a number of times by fighters, and he's been put down as well. He does get up, he's got that Maori spirit, you know, he comes in like he's doing the haka, but he does get caught more often than you would like. Both men have that sort of chink in their armour. So it's a close fight, it's a tight fight, and I've always felt this, but, you know, I have a clear winner in mind, and I have a reason behind it as well. Now, I think this fight is going to go 12 rounds, and my prediction is a Joseph Parker win, 12 round points win. I think both men are going to touch the canvas in this fight early, and I think they're going to make adaptations in the middle rounds, and then towards the latter half of the fight, I think that Joseph Parker's speed, his agility, and his combination punching are going to help him hurt, slow down, and break down the bigger man in Joyce. It's not going to be an easy night, but the reason and the key to victory here is Andy Lee. Andy Lee comes up with the best game plans, and they have big men in their camp. They've got Tyson Fury, a 6'9" behemoth who is almost like he can mimic people. And I know they say they're not sparring, but I guarantee you at that level, the elite level, of course they're going to lie and tell you they're not sparring. Why would they not be sparring though? Come on, you got to think about these things. Joseph Parker is coming into this fight with Tyson in his camp. Tyson is going to help him get ready and sharpen steel. And at this time, being in the lineal heavyweight champion of the world's camp with a trainer like Andy Lee, you know, who comes from the Emmanuel Stewart camp, another legend in the game, I think that is going to be the difference. And that's what's going to help steer Parker through to get the victory. So 12 round, split decision, victory for Joe Parker this Saturday night. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to know what you think. Drop your predictions below. It's Inside Boxing Brain. Subscribe to my channel and like this video, and I will be back very soon with a reaction to the fight over the weekend.